Welcome back to the Women's Rugby Pod World Cup edition here in Manchester, the Salford Community Stadium. Rachel Taylor, Wales legend. Deb McCormack here, of course, Scotland legend. Just legends everywhere you look around these days around the World Cup. We're going to analyse the Wales-Scotland game, of course. First win for Scotland since 2010 in a World Cup. 38-8 was the final score. But before we get into the meat and bones of the game, just give us a general impression of the day, the atmosphere here, at an area you know particularly well, of course.
Yeah, obviously, coming back to Manchester, it's been quite an emotional day anyway, but to see how well they've done and getting a crowd here, the energy, the feel, it's such a good vibe, coming in, obviously lucky enough to be in Sunderland last night as well, and to see the energy of the crowd, it's great, the fact that they're moving around the country, these two games in the north, it's everything that, obviously the club always wanted and the PWR always wanted and obviously the RFU wanted in terms of moving the game around and growing the game, so as far as the day, I think it's been really successful.
Yeah, it's brilliant as well to see the fans in the stadium engaging with the players afterwards and just enjoying the atmosphere, and the travelling support has been brilliant. It's been a great day.
There's loads of Scotland supporters, loads of flags. I even had bagpipes in the corner. Yeah, it wouldn't be a Scotland game without bagpipes, wouldn't it? But no, a tremendous atmosphere, and as you say, local people. I saw a lady coming out here and clearly from the area with her accent saying, no, it was really entertaining and and the rest of it. So a great advert for women's rugby. But look, let's get into it. I say with trepidation to Rachel Taylor, the dark days World Cup will continue. Let's go to the winners though first.
Okay.
Debs, your overall impression of that performance from Scotland?
I think just energy and mindset, they went into that with the real intent, and I think that's what gave them the edge over Wales. And their physicality as well, but that feeds that mindset thing. They went in there wanting to win, wanting to get a result, and those collisions, that physicality, they just dominated.
I felt there was a hunger, but also an emotional. They're an incredibly emotionally driven side, aren't they? They're an incredibly tight group. Emma Wassell, I thought, was outstanding today. But of course, it's backstory to what Emma's been through of late, and I just thought they funneled all that energy right into today's performance.
Yeah, well, there's so much going on in the background, isn't there? There's the contract situation, there's Brian leaving, there's Emma, there's so much going on, and we said it in studio as well, that emotion can tip you over the edge and it can make you not perform. But they used it really well today and they energised themselves, and I think they're galvanised at the moment as a squad. So the full intent of performing at this World Cup.
Were you impressed by that?
I was. I think from a mindset perspective and knowing the magnitude of this game, it was knockout rugby today ultimately, in terms of the ball. And I know we say that and we don't really know what Fiji are going to bring, and Johan Cunningham's there and that could be bad for Wales, but just generally on world rankings, the games they play, the intensity they played at, the winner of this game will probably, likelihood go second in the pool. And I just thought they approached it in the right way. It was like their World Cup final. They played it like a World Cup final. They had the desire, the want to keep them out on the try line with 2 minutes left on the clock. The energy from every turnover, from every successful try, wall, scrum pen. You're absolutely right. I just thought they were galvanised. They fed off it. They looked like they'd done their homework. They'd worked really hard for one game. They got it.
I think they had a little bit of variance in attack as well today, so offered something slightly different. Maybe Wales hadn't quite seen that before. And Fran McGee, a hat trick of tries. They got the ball to where the space was, and Wales couldn't rectify that after half time. They knew the space was that wide, and they left that gap still.
And that back line, I thought Helen Nelson, one of the best days in the Scottish for a very, very long time. At the fly half. Got that solidity next to her, of course, and know each other so well. And then Emma always really growing into her 13th shirt. Obviously a superstar a few years ago, but she's really growing into her 13th shirt.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I'll just touch on Helen Nelson first of all. We spoke about the emotion. She's one that's quite calm and composed, so she can settle the squad and control the game. Such a leader, really quiet leader, composed. And then you talk about Emma Orr, she's just outstanding. She's one that we're going to be talking about for years to come, the next World Cup, the World Cup after, the Emily Scarrett of centres. So she's brilliant. Her running lines of Lisa Thompson, and Lisa Thompson is key to that as well. You don't see much of what Lisa does, but she allows Emma that space. She fixes the defenders for Emma to go through, and she really helps with that attacking platform.
I think it's a really smart use of a 10, 12, 13, like, because the threats that you have in your back three, they completely blew Wales away today. And then either clean line breaks, overloading on edges, and it was because of the work that was done in the middle of the field that allowed that to happen. So, like, yes, Emma was a really direct, strong ball carrying runner, and she can be devastating in that. She also has a really good ability of putting other people in space. Same as Tomo, like, pass on it, and it's all directed, you know, from Nelson. And I just think that back line today, you know, we've spoken about them previously and said they probably had a lot more firepower than Wales, and I think they absolutely blew Wales apart from back line to back line. Accuracy of the pass, everything out in front of them, a nice variation of the game. I thought their set piece starters and their strike players were brilliant, like they sliced Wales open. So absolute credit to them. I think you're right, they came out all guns blazing, and what is it, accuracy and intensity. So yeah, they tick both those boxes today, didn't they?
And we've seen some finishers already in this tournament. Definitely in the game before. Of course, England just got a couple of tries, but really cool done, of course. But you think, oh, Ryan Lloyd, you've got to keep going on her, and then you've got Riley back in the family things popping up with a hat trick. There's dangers everywhere you're looking at on Scotland back.
Yeah, they've got threats everywhere, but I think this has been building for a little while as well. The core group of players have been in this league since almost like 10 years. This has been building. They were very young players like Ronan Lloyd, Lisa Thompson, Chloe Rowley, inexperienced, but they've been building to this point. They're now getting to their peak. But also it's the way that Scotland are playing with their attack now. They're allowing them to get the ball, whereas we almost overplayed before, very forward dominating, trying to like overplay in our own 22. But the game plan is such that they've now got the freedom and the space to be able to attack.
What technically worked really well for them today? Because you've spoken about the emotion, the high, the accuracy was greater than Wales, and that's fairly obvious to see. What technically, tactically did they get right?
I think they were switched on. So like when there was a loose ball or turnover, Scotland were on it, and they were moving it away from the point of contact, getting into space. So that reaction, the speed of pass to get it out to Fran McGee on the edge, like we can credit Fran McGee for like a hat trick, but the ball's got to get to her. So that's got to come from the speed of pass, the identification of space and opportunity as well. So I think that is eyes up, where's the space, getting those passes out, like simple things done well.
Yeah, it was. I think when you look at the whole, you talk about like high performance rugby, international rugby, you've got to take your chances when you get inside the 22. I thought Scotland did that really well today. But the bit where they edged Wales out for me was between the two 22s. I just thought they fell into their shape, they fell into their understanding of play, whether that's their game model or, like you said, the cohesion that they've got and the understanding of each other they've got over time. It just looked far more comfortable for me, and I thought we talked a lot about the kicking game before, but again, it's meat is made, it's contestable, it's all the little things that can keep edging you up the pitch. And, you know, Wales didn't look like they really saw inside opposition half. They were pretty clinical when they got into 22, but they just really struggled to get there. Scotland just seemed to do it with ease. Game line carry after game line carry. Any 10 or 10, it's a lot easier to do that when you're going forward, which of course it is, but I just thought, I think you're right, like the variation, when to do it, when not to do it. I thought they overplayed a little bit towards the end, but actually I think it's a really good step up in tension then, like clearly they want to make a change.
Yeah, we want the objectives of this game cleared away. The story's going past. It's almost built in a podcast, but that's where we like it. Look, 13-8. We all know Taylor and Deborah McCormack after the victory. Can you put a finger on why? I know it's a horrible term, but Wales went on the basis.
No, I don't think I can. I just think they just were off. You know, like we said, Scotland looked like they prepped for that game, and only that game. Wales are still building journey. Both nations have been through similar scenarios off pitch and difficulties off pitch over the years. But I just think where that team for Scotland looked like they're way more cohesed, much more understanding of who they are and their identity. Wales are very much treading the water to figure out who they are, what they might be, and it's a real mixture of experienced players and younger players, and it's just not clicking. And ultimately, you've got to be physical. You got to want to get off the floor, you've got to want to hit stuff. And whether that's the pressure of knowing how important this game was, we won't know, because all the chat before has said that they prepped really well. They've had 12 weeks of good pre-season. They've had a tour to Australia, which is an amazing opportunity. And to underperform today, like there will have to be questions asked of how they prepped their build-up. What did the week look like? What did the 4 weeks prior look like? But I think
Just going to Australia help?
I don't know. Like in terms of galvanising the squad, we'd love to go right. Like you want to go, you want to have that tightness, and to a place like Australia, we can have so many lifelong memories. Amazing. Like I do think in the long run, with some of those younger players, that would be absolutely class. It's just, was it right? Yes, no. The first win will probably help, but random game, right? Like half an hour break for lightning, monsoon conditions. Probably, I don't know. Is that a real like picture of where we are? I don't know. Second one, out muscled by miles. So yeah, I think I don't know. Like it's hard to say. Like I think in the long run, yes. Short term prep for the World Cup, clearly not.
What did you make of Wales?
So I thought your back row were really quiet today. I was expecting like a really fierce battle there, and we didn't really see them. So I think it was lacking that physicality, that dominance, which we normally see from them. And I wonder if that is a mindset thing, because a lot of that can be, especially around the back rows. You know, it's a mindset thing. You're just going to go out and absolutely smash everything in front of you. So I'm not quite sure where it's coming from, but for me, it seemed to be a mindset thing that then, you know, lacked dominance. Scotland were there and Wales were there. And you can't compete there. You have to bring it up. So I don't know what they do to fix that. Whether it is you know, work off the field to get that mindset right, or whether it's work on the field. Are they trying to implement a new attacking plan that means they're overthinking what they're doing and not just playing rugby? I'm not sure, but something's not quite firing.
Yeah, no, obviously Sean Lynn is very new into the head coach there, but you expect your big players to step up, and that surprised me. Those players, half-backs, didn't have a great deal of control, but also better from Sean Lynn, these aren't working. It's been a long problem for a long time in the old line-out. You don't make a change there. Just seem to be on the back foot the entire day.
Yeah, and I think you talk about that physicality and that one from the back row. I think any Wales team that's been and gone before, we've always relied on a set piece, and it's always been the thing that's given us the energy. Getting a 22, we'll go for a catch drive, and like we'll try and nail it. And I think we've always backed it. We've started to back a scrum more recently with the likes of Yapp, Cecilia Tuipulotu. Like wow, you know the depth of having Karis Phillips, Kelsey Jones. Like that's a really good front row, but we're not seeing it translate to set piece dominance. It's hit and miss. There's no guarantees. Line out's been poor, and I think that's what normally gives us like the energy and the enthusiasm to keep going. And like we talk about line out, I thought Sarah Bonner being back today, Wasp being back today. Like that was a bit of a masterclass in the line out, really. Like in terms of just making a mess of your own. You know, so credit has to go to them in terms of like the pressure put on. But I think you're right. Like, is that selection? Do you try and stick with a bit more of an experienced team? Do you try and embed these youngsters? And it's right. Alan Pierce is going to be an amazing rugby player. Like I can right, but it's just in what moment, what time. You know, when you've got an outstanding on the bench who will hit 1 million rucks in a game. It's probably an exaggeration, probably not far off. But and then, or you've got Georgia Evans, who you know is going to put her head in a horrible place for the rest of the team. It's difficult, isn't it? And I think we see that quality of player week in, week out in the PWR, and we're probably questioning like why isn't that translating to a forward pack.
I was worried about your bench coming on with the impact they could make, and to be honest, I didn't really see much of a difference. So I don't know what was happening there either.
I think that's really difficult, isn't it? Like once the game's gone away, like realistically, what can you change? And I think tactically, I think they tried to change, to start to try and kick in the corner, but then discipline let us down. It was like, obviously a yellow card. And fair play, like Gwen Crabb put herself around, but a yellow card is probably a bit fatigued. Timing gets off a little bit. Then we had Bethan Lewis's late tackle, and then suddenly, you know, you're trying to put someone in the corner, but your defensive shift isn't, discipline's not on point, your defensive shift, and then suddenly you're 60 metres back up the pitch again, and to try and then repeat that is so hard. And I thought it was smart from Scotland, like bring some more players on, you know, Katie Matt putting people in corners, trying to make Wales play out of a 5 metre line. Like, we didn't look threatening all afternoon. We ain't going to look threatening from our 5 metres, are we?
Wow.
I know. I tried to have
Charles,
some chocolate
okay.
earlier.
It's okay. And geez, I mean, that's some mortgage in the castle that Tails lives in. I can tell you. Just one last word from you. Throwing some bouquets out. We spoke about Fran McGee. Any other players who really stood out for you today?
I think you're right. Emma Wassell, Sarah Bonner. Sarah Bonner I thought was a little bit quiet around the park, but at set piece, crucial. So those two back in the second row, brilliant.
Absolutely. Well, it wasn't just Scotland who got a win today. Australia got a famous, historic 73-0 win over Samoa, their record win in a World Cup. And a little bit earlier on, I spoke to Joe Yapp, their head coach. Joe, congratulations, a massive win, 73-0. Could you have asked for a better start, certainly in that first half to a World Cup?
Yeah, no, the first half and I think the first 15-20 minutes, just seeing how clinical the girls were and being able to execute our set piece like we did, it really set a good platform for us to build off. So yeah, I'm really happy with that.
73-0, I understand that's a record win in a World Cup for Australia. The overall impression of the game then as a full 80 then, I know we've spoken about the first half, but the full 80 as a performance.
Yeah, I think it's credit to Samoa because in the second half they actually came at us really hard and we had to defend our line for periods of time. And I was really proud of the girls because actually, like, to be able to hold a team out like the Samoa that are really physical and they're strong ball carriers, to keep them at nil, I was really pleased with because they definitely came out and they upped their game in that second half and we managed to bounce back from that and then go again in that last quarter.
So on your list of don't need to do too much on because I was really pleased with, what's on that list? I know it's difficult just after a game.
No, it is difficult because obviously you've got your hot reflections and then when you look back at the game, I think there's always areas that we're constantly working on. So like from our perspective defensively, yes, we were solid, but we need to still be firing off the line. Like we need to be getting off the line and USA are going to come at us hard and we need to be making sure we're getting off the line and big focus.
On the flip side of that, what are the areas then specifically you do need to brush up on?
Those are the areas. I think just that clarity of like nomination, who's on ball in defence, and making sure we're getting off the line and we're taking the space off them.
So I can't really hear. It's an absolute bunfight, isn't it? Who in particular impressed you today? There's some good leadership, very very physical out there, and you got some great finishers. It's good kickers as well.
Yeah, and I think that was an area of the game on the whole that we were happier with. It's been a big focus for us, the kicking game. It's not something in the Southern Hemisphere that we like to throw it around, but obviously in a World Cup we need to play smart as well. So we've been working really hard on our kicking game, and it was really good today to see us actually executing that, and then we've been able to turn teams around and put pressure on them. So Caitlin Holes and Tala being able to do that was really pleasing.
What do you make of the USA last night? Did you watch the game?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What did you make of them?
We know that they're a strong side, and I think in terms of they've got some really big physical ball carriers that at times did dent England. So we know, they're going to come at us pretty hard next week. It's a big game for both teams.
And on a personal note, nice to be home.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't really feel like I'm at home yet. Although it's lovely to see familiar faces in the crowd and getting to see people and say hi. But it's kind of like you're just in tournament mode at the moment. But it'll be nice.
And a wider perspective, you've been involved in this game a long time with lots of different levels and of course as a player. Can you quite believe where we are now in 2025? Those
amazing,
scenes.
isn't it? Like the growth of the game, even just in the last few years. To see the crowd out there today and then last night, it's just awesome, and it's just great. Like in terms of like role models, because in the women's game there's so many amazing people that are still balancing. I know England players are, but a lot of our girls are still balancing careers alongside trying to play rugby, and we've got some amazing people. So to see them have a platform to inspire others, I think is really special.
It's great to see you. Have a good week. See you soon. Cheers. Great to hear from Joe. Look, finally, we just round off. Fiji next. What are you expecting from the Scotland team to go from strength to strength?
Well, I think
Rest
Fiji's
up.
a difficult. Yeah, rest up. That was a hard battle out there. Fiji's a difficult one. They're very unpredictable, so it's quite hard to to put a defensive game plan into something where it's like an unstructured attack, right? So I think Fiji will give them some problems in the game. I hope that ultimately Scotland will win it, but I think it's going to be harder for Scotland to put their game plan into that game as quickly as they did today, just because of the way Fiji like to play. They're quite unpredictable. They like to throw the ball about, broken attack, but I expect Scotland to take a hold of it before the second half.
Because they can surprise people, can't they? I mean, England really got rocked by them for 50 odd minutes in the last one.
Yeah, and I think like you saw a little bit with USA and England last night, didn't you? As soon as an offloading game comes in, it's really difficult to defend, and you chuck an offloading game in with some really strong ball carriers, and it is hard. It's unstructured. No defence likes unstructured play. It's out of the ordinary. So I think they will be a team that they're certainly up there for chucking the odd banana skin out, I think.
And next for Wales, of course, it is Canada. Got to dust themselves off. What kind of reaction are you expecting?
Yeah, I think Sean Lynn's probably had quite a harsh chat with him in terms of it not being good enough. Post press conference saying that it's a clear statement to the players. But in tournament, there's always a balance, isn't it? Like you don't want to push players too far. They have to be aware of their journey. They still need to be together. They still need to dust themselves off and have the confidence to go against Canada. I think unless we shore out our defence, though, I think we're in real trouble. Like we have to get off the line. We have to stop conceding game line as quickly as we are, or it'll be a really long afternoon against Canada's world-class ball carrying pack.
Good. Well, there we are then. All the in-depth analysis from Scotland against Wales are brilliant. We expected it to be one of the games of the pool stage, and it's certainly been that. But it's Scotland who come out on top. Their first win in a World Cup since 2010. Huge thanks to you, Tails. Huge thanks to you, Debs. We'll see you down the road.